We all know the story of Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, the brilliant mind who gave us the light bulb, the phonograph, and the motion picture camera. He is celebrated as the ultimate American inventor, a self-made genius who dragged humanity out of the darkness and into the electric age. But what if the light he brought was powered by a much darker machine? What if the history books have carefully cropped out the ruthless tactics, the stolen credit, and the lives destroyed in the name of innovation? Welcome to Buried History. Today, we are turning off the lights on the myth of Thomas Edison. Chapter 1: The War of Currents. In the late 1880s, Edison was fighting a losing battle. His direct current electrical system was inefficient and expensive. His rival, George Westinghouse, was backing a far superior system, alternating current, developed by Nikola Tesla. Edison knew he couldn't win on the merits of the technology, so he turned to a ruthless smear campaign. To convince the public that alternating current was deadly, Edison secretly funded the creation of the first electric chair. He wanted the public to associate his rival's technology with death. On August 6, 1890, a man named William Kemmler was executed using AC power. The execution was botched horribly, taking 8 agonizing minutes. But Edison didn't stop there. He and his associates orchestrated public electrocutions of stray dogs, cats, and horses, using AC power to terrify the public. The most infamous event came years later, when a circus elephant named Topsy was electrocuted in front of 1,500 spectators. Edison's name was forever linked to the horrific spectacle. Chapter 2: The Myth of the Lone Genius. Edison is credited with over 1,000 patents, but the image of him toiling alone in his lab is a carefully constructed fiction. Edison didn't just invent products, he invented the modern research and development laboratory. At Menlo Park, he employed dozens of brilliant engineers, mechanics, and scientists. The dark side of this system was that Edison took sole credit and the patents for almost everything his team produced. Men like Lewis Latimer, a brilliant black draftsman who actually invented the carbon filament that made the light bulb practical, were largely erased from the Edison mythos. Charles Batchelor, John Cruzy, and dozens of others worked themselves to exhaustion in Edison's lab, often sleeping on benches, only to see their breakthroughs stamped with Edison's name. Edison was less of a solitary genius and more of a ruthless corporate CEO, buying up patents, absorbing the work of his employees, and aggressively crushing anyone who tried to claim their rightful share of the gold. Chapter 3: The Destruction of Tesla. The rivalry between Edison and Nikola Tesla is legendary. But it wasn't a fair fight. Tesla was a visionary. Edison was a businessman. When Tesla first came to America, he worked for Edison. Edison famously promised Tesla $50,000, the equivalent of over $1 million today, if he could redesign his inefficient DC generators. Tesla worked tirelessly, succeeding brilliantly. When Tesla asked for his payment, Edison laughed and told him he didn't understand American humor. He refused to pay. Tesla quit in disgust and ended up digging ditches just to survive. While Tesla eventually found backing with Westinghouse, Edison spent years using his immense wealth and influence to block Tesla's projects, tie him up in endless litigation, and ensure that the brilliant Serbian immigrant died penniless and alone in a New York hotel room. History remembers Edison as the hero of electricity. Tesla, the man who actually won the war of coins, died forgotten.
Chapter 4: The Hollywood Monopoly. Edison's ruthless business tactics extended far beyond electricity. When the motion picture industry began to emerge, Edison saw a chance for total control. He formed the Motion Picture Patents Company, known simply as the Trust. Edison owned the patents on the cameras and the projectors, and he used them to create a vicious monopoly. If independent filmmakers tried to shoot a movie without paying Edison's extortionate fees, he didn't just sue them. He hired thugs to raid their sets, smash their cameras, and physically intimidate the directors. One filmmaker described armed men arriving on set and destroying thousands of dollars of equipment on Edison's orders. To escape Edison's violent monopoly and his hired enforcers, independent filmmakers fled as far away from his New Jersey headquarters as possible. They moved to a sunny, unregulated town on the West Coast. That town was Hollywood. Thomas Edison's tyranny inadvertently created the modern film industry. Every movie ever made in Hollywood exists in part because filmmakers were running away from Thomas Edison. Chapter 5: The Final Legacy. Thomas Edison died a wealthy, universally celebrated hero. He successfully branded himself as the grandfather of modern invention. But the foundation of his empire was built on a system of exploitation, stolen credit, and the ruthless destruction of his competitors. He didn't just invent the light bulb. He invented the cutthroat corporate playbook that still dominates industries today. The idea that a powerful man with enough lawyers and enough money can claim ownership of other people's brilliance. The idea that the person at the top of the machine gets the credit, while the workers who built it are forgotten. Lewis Latimer, who made the light bulb actually work, died in relative obscurity. Nikola Tesla, who powered the modern world, died alone and penniless. The independent filmmakers who built Hollywood did so in exile. And Thomas Edison, he got the statues, the museums, and the history books. The light he brought to the world cast a very long, very dark shadow. History isn't black and white. It's built on dark secrets. And sometimes, the brightest lights hide the deepest shadows. Subscribe to Buried History for more untold stories that challenge everything you thought you knew. And if this changed how you see the Wizard of Menlo Park, leave a comment below. Which historical figure should we dig up